Cool. Yeah, today is 21st October 2022, and we are in IBM Cloud cluster API for IBM Cloud meeting. Sorry for a small change. We are using WebEx for today's meeting, so there's an issue with Zoom. I need to talk to the person who got the email ID for this Zoom ID. I think it's asking for OTP. I think that's fine. I think I'll figure out a way from next time. I can use that. But yeah, meanwhile, we'll just get started with the agenda. Okay, so we'll go back. I don't really have composed the agenda, so we'll go back and then we'll see what all thing we have done so far. Okay, so there is this alpha release I've done. So this is mainly just for, going forward, I think we need to find a way to maybe, you know, cut this alpha release as soon as we release the, let's say, if, as soon as, let's see, usually in Kubernetes, what really happens is like as soon as they release the, let's say there's a 0.3 release. So as soon as they release this one, so they'll just cut the alpha release for some tracking purpose and all that. So because internally it just uses this tag for tagging some of those images when it is built and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's little delay from my end, but yeah, probably next time we just need to cut a release as soon as we release, the branch or release branch, whatever. So, so yeah, so I have done that uh, last week sometime. Where is it? Yeah, not a whole lot of features there. So yeah, no, I was wrong. So I think we did bunch of content delivered. I'll not go each and every items what we delivered in that alpha release because most of them already discussed. So maybe we'll touch base on the items what we delivered in past. It's a more than a month we didn't have the meeting. So again, okay, that was too long back. Okay, so we'll go back to the content what we delivered so far, and then we'll see. We can quickly spend some time like talking through some of those items, and then we can go to the backlog, post that. Okay. Um, Delivered last 10 weeks. The 9th September. Okay. Going to next page. That's sad. Yeah, so move label filed under config fix. So this is mainly, I think, this some tilt issue. We just fixed it. It's a minor issue. What we kind of moved the label from the not proper, like previously we were doing wrong, and then now we have just fixed that bug, minor issue. And then removed unwanted logs. I did remove some of these unwanted logs which we were printing in. So this is another minor issue we fixed. Enable additional linters. We just added additional linters. Anything in particular you want to talk, Prajit, on this?
No, Manju. We just basically try to add more linters in sync with what Cappy uses, and yeah.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, I mean, most of the other labels, like we are, linters, we are okay with that. Like, but there's one linter I'm interested in is Go Cyclo. This is very important one, and then it's a very, helpful for in terms of the code, like the complexity or how easy to read and all that, right? So I think right now we are set at the default. Maybe default is 20 or something. Not sure the score. I think they have these different scores. Um, like based on your code, what it does is like it just give you sort of a score for individual modules or sort of files, and says this is what your Go Cyclo or Go complexity score for your particular code. Right now, I think we are using some default value, whatever it is there in the, what is Golang CI, right? Let me just do Golang. Sorry, here or is the doc? I don't find the doc, but yeah, it's somewhere in the doc which says the complete information about this linter. So yeah, must be here. But the idea is like, see, nothing as of now, but maybe for the long run, we should try maybe, improving this score. That requires, where is the linters? All right. Yeah, I think the default is 30, right? But we recommend 10 to 20 or whatever. I think we just need to explore this option, maybe, reducing that 30 to around 10 or 20. 10 will be idle, but yeah, 20 is acceptable sort of thing. So maybe we need to explore how well we can maybe achieve these numbers less as possible. Maybe around 10 to 20s, maybe 15 or 20. We can try achieving and then see how it goes. But this is something I'm very curious about, like, using this and then enhancing our code in terms of better reliability. Yeah, that's something we should try. Okay, just let me put do not disturb mode. I think I'm not sure if I created already an issue for this. Did I? Do you see any issues for that? No, right?
No, Manju, I don't think we have one.
Yeah, maybe I'll just create an issue before I forget. Uh, come on. Oh man. Oh, it's already here. Okay, so improve close score. Right. More information. Oops. Why? It is supposed to give me a link. Okay. Oops. It's not really working. It says go dot. Did I press go dot? There is go cyclo. Oh. Yeah, I know this is going to be a little tricky, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's one thing I want to discuss. So that will be helpful for the long run. Okay. Tabs. It won't change the functionality, but it always changes the code readability and all that. So that's required for long run. Okay. So this user-defined port, so this is mainly meant for accepting anything else other than 6443. So as of now, it is all 6443, but you can mention like 6443. This is mainly for, let's say, if someone wants to use like 443 or whatever else like you want to use, right? So that is not really there at the moment. Like it wasn't there before. So, but with this change, we can use the port whatever we want to use. So that's the code changes we have done. I think this is as of now it is it only for VPC we have done, I feel. And then Power VS also we need to see how this can be used. we need to explore that as well. But do you see any challenges there? I think I know we cannot use all the ports in Power BI. There is a limitation there for sure. So we cannot use all the ports. But any idea like if anyone?
Manju, I think in the Power BI, right, the ports needs to be open beforehand, right, before we can actually use it. So if that port is particularly open, right, what we normally use, then I think it should not be an issue. We can do the change.
Yeah, so let's explore. So not something we want to do it right away, but something we will explore for sure for the future purpose.
Okay, Manju.
To um, just okay, Tom. So that okay. And this is done for the VPC. So now user can supply, as I mentioned earlier. So the user can supply the custom port for the API server. Um, oops. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, I mean, this is another template added into our code for mainly for load balancer stuff. The idea here is like I think we already discussed about the load balancer concept earlier. So, but the only thing is like we didn't add an option of using you know, the template, right? I mean, why the code? I mean, yeah, I mean, code was there, like, but not really a template can be used. So we have done that work. I feel with this, you have the template for load balancer as well. So yeah, and you can see this template now. So user can just use this template for creating the load balancer type of API server. And we have enhanced the doc as well. I can see the doc is present, template is present. We're all good. Right? Anything else you want to add, Prajat?
No, Manju. We are just basically adding a template to help the user understand how can a cluster deploy it using load balancer. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I mentioned yesterday, Amulya, for you to kind of handle the load balancer also. Right.
Right. I got it. Yeah.
That's exactly another reason I want to deal with.
Yeah.
So we'll explore how to, maybe clean that and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. And next one is the linting part. I did some enhancement. Oh, this is mainly for the import. Like I just created like different sections here. Like first one is like the standard, which are like your internal Golang libraries. And then after that, default is the section. So, yeah, by the way, this is the, linting, GCI linter. So this is mainly meant for like if you want to restrict your import sections based on certain rules, right? So that you can define here. So this will take care of, it will ensure that all your code follows this standard. So just for, the better readability and the maintainability for your import sets, I just created this section, and then this is what we can use this. I mean, like if you have any concern or questions, maybe we can revisit and see if we can maybe change this to whatever relevant one. But as of now, it is all like standard one is mainly for your importing like Golang internal libraries. And post that default is something where it will just, default is section where if remaining like rules are not applied, so it will just go to read default section. So that's what it is. And then prefix, I'm trying to create one separate category for like github.com IBM because Ours is the IBM cloud project. I just want to have one dedicated section for IBM imports so that will be easy to handle and all that. And then prefix like 8SIO for Kubernetes imports, and 6 for like the any leftover thing which is not really, falling in cluster API and cluster IBM cloud. So that we are would consider as another section for that. Yeah, I ideally wanted to club both of these two, but I don't see a way to do that. But I just have, you know, maybe there's a scope for improvement for the CCI. But yeah, as of now, it is like the K8SIO and the 6 will be two different sections if they're not falling under these two categories, right? And the next one is like cluster API. The cluster API imports what we use. There'll be another section, and then of course cluster API provider IBMCloud. So this is for the internal references. So I just want to make sure that we have a different section for that. And black one is mainly meant for your underscore stuff, like the underscore imports, right? So that we have here for the blank, and then the dot imports are like for your dot imports, dot usually for Jinko or Gomego what we use. So that's for that. Yeah, based on that, I did refactoring for the imports as well, right? So you can see most of the imports are like that format now. I'll take questions if any. Any questions or concerns, or do you think it's a better way, or it's not really something we should do? Or your experience with dealing with this change? No comments?
No, Anju, I think we are fine with this.
Okay. But this can be changed. Let me know in case if you have any concern. Okay.
Okay, Anju.
All right. And then this change is meant for. But do you hear any background sound?
No,
No,
Manju.
Manju. Oh, there's some lady shouting out there. So that means WebEx is really working really, really good. So just detects my voice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tuned for that. So that's nice. Cool. Okay, so Prajat, you want to talk about this one?
Okay, Manju. So initially, the tilt, right, it used to work by using the JSON format files to specify the basic settings, right? Now they have added changes for so that we can also specify the same files in a YAML format. So we have shifted from using the JSON based files to use the YAML based files. Rest of the configurations, everything remain the same. It's just a change of the file name and the format in which the files are written. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just to align with what rest of the world is doing in Kubernetes, cluster API and other project. They started using YAMLs, and then we also feel like YAML can be a better, uh, maybe like easy to understand or whatever. So I think instead of a lot of brackets, so I think it's always better. I mean, but this doesn't mean that you cannot use JSON, so you can still use JSON, um, but yeah, this is something that's the main idea behind that. So just use what the rest of the crowd is using, and then yeah, it's of course it's just for the better readability.
Yes, Munjan. One thing to add here, right? So, in case, like as you said, right, JSON can be used as well as YAML can be used, right? So, in case the user specifies both, right? So, the default option they follow is use the YAML first. So that's
Perfect.
why everyone is shifting towards YAML. So yeah, we are in sync with them on that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. So JSON is something which is not really, not many people use in Kubernetes. Even see, for example, your some of the specs can be even JSON for the Kubernetes specs also, but not many people use JSON. So Let's answer the question. um, yeah, so update to 1.222, 1.2.2, and nothing serious. So it's just the update to the next version. Yeah, there are other update also. I think 1.2.4 is what we have done recently. But any idea like when they are basically cutting the release for next 1.3? Anyone?
I'm not sure, Manju. We'll have to check.
So I think they are forming some release team
Release team,
for
yeah.
yeah.
I've seen that they found release team for 1.4.0, but I don't know 1.3.0.
Oh, release team for 1.4.0?
Right, right, yeah. And it's supposed to be from December to March, if I'm not wrong, that the release team was assigned to that time frame.
Okay, you mean in the December they're going to form that team, or
No,
it's already
it's
formed?
already formed, and their assignment, or like how they're going to work, is from December to March.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, but not sure why 1.4, but why not 1. Oh, maybe they don't want to deal with that 1. I don't know. So maybe can someone check when they'll be releasing 1.3?
Yeah, Manju, I can do that. I'll post it on the channel.
Yeah, I think we already created one, thread for that
Right.
same thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. I see this milestone and then 11 issues open. Not really sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's see. See, because the idea was like, we'll start adopting 1.3 release and then maybe start updating 1.3 and then Kubernetes release also, right? So that we just use the latest one. So that's the only reason I was kind of curious. I think should be fine. Okay. The CCM changes, Karthik, you want to talk about?
Yeah, so it's just the selector changes. The new deployments are coming with the taints of having the control plane instead of master. So we are making this CCM deployment to tolerate that.
Okay, cool. And by the way, now we have pushed also a code for testing the CCM image change. Whenever there's a change in this particular folder, CCM, so yeah, we have pro job to test the content also.
Okay.
Yeah, that is pushed by Raji recently. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is reconcile things. Prajot, you want to talk? Prajot, you there?
Yes,
Take
Manju.
it mute.
Yeah, Manju. So basically, I think this was related to the delete flow of the machine. Okay.
Yeah, actually,
Think
we had some issues while deleting the machine, I believe. When the ID was not there, then it is ID was not set. I think it was creating some issue. For example, like some of the pending machines, and we tried deleting, and that's when we had issues, right, Prajot?
I think this is Manju when the machines were not created
Yeah,
and the delete flow was triggered. So when it was going to delete, it was basically looking for the IDs for those particular machines to get deleted, right?
yeah.
And if the IDs were not present, then it was basically throw an error. But the actual case was the machine itself did not get created. So instead, what we are doing right now is that we are checking for the IDs to be, if the ID is empty, basically it will be empty because the machine is yet not created. We are just returning nil from there so that we are avoiding that error and going ahead with the rest of the process. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. But I was having one quick question, like that time. So, do you think we need to record this video as well? or no, not required, right?
Not Manju.
This is a
Successful record events, I don't think we required. Like normally failure ones we can record. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. So anyway, this success delete instance is mainly meant for the deleting of the actual instance from the backend.
Distance. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, this is handled gracefully. And yeah, some update in the hack script. So that's not, it's a minor change. Oh, this is add scale from 9 to 0. So over to you, Karthik.
Yeah, sure, Manju. Actually, the autoscaler has support for the cluster API provider as well, but it usually updates, scales the machine depending on the workload. For example, if you deploy few pods and the pods did not get the expected resources, it will be in pending state. So the autoscaler will take care of creating the machines. So in this specific case, we want to create a machine when there is no worker machines. For example, when you create a cluster with zero worker machines, and we're at that time, if we have the workload, with this support, the autoscaler can create the machine from zero. So what the important here is that when the worker machines are zero, the autoscaler does not know what is the capacity of the worker it is going to create. So with this PR, we are adding a field called capacity to the machine template status, so that the autoscaler can read from it. So currently autoscaler has two ways of reading it. One is from the status, one is from the annotation. So annotation is basically manual step. You need to go and add annotation each time. But with this status, it's automated. So whenever we create a new machine template, so this controller will go ahead and update the values for the status capacity field, so that autoscaler can consume it. So this is how we have done it. For one important thing is for Power VS, we have some different way of passing the CPUs. So if you see the formula, if you set one CPU, it will be logically it will be 8 CPUs. So we have this conversion done over here. So that's what this PR does.
Yeah, I know. I think it's little difficult to understand in this one.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
talk, but I feel like maybe we should have some deep dive sessions for some of these changes what we pushed. Yeah, maybe post Diwali we will have we'll get started with some of these sessions and then we'll see
Yeah, sure.
how it
I can do
goes.
that.
But definitely we need some post like the deep dive for some of these cluster autoscalers and then how it works, how the scaling and all works, right? So that's a very interesting concept. So I think we should definitely need one, sort of 1 hour session just for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will create some scenarios and then see.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, but mainly the idea is like for a cluster autoscalers, so scale from 0 or scale to 0. So that's the concept we have achieved in this particular PR.
Yeah, scale from zero is easy, but scale to zero requires some manual intervention, because it will automatically create the CNI ports and all will be scheduled on the machines.
Yeah. I
So
think
we need to manually remove that.
yeah. I think there are some flags also for ignoring some of those ports, right? If I'm not wrong.
Uh,
Not sure.
I think I need to check. Maybe it should be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something of that sort. Some demon set, ignore demon set or something. There are many flags in the
Yeah,
cluster.
yeah.
I think we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to check, I think. Okay. And Golang bump. Yeah, this is something done. And published latest image for 1.25. That is done. And I have also done like enhanced the documentation. So it was like previously it was like just sort of like regions, Powys regions and zones and then whatnot, but it wasn't like very informative. So I've just refactored the whole table content and then added the geography and the location just for better readability. So yeah, so now we can see all this information in the doc itself. So yeah, so it's more for like the complete table which talks about the all the regions and zones. Okay. Oh yeah, I mean, we did VPC LB integration long back, like in almost, I think just before this release or in this release itself, but there were UT missing, so we just added UT. I think, see, project we have done in 0.3, right? If I'm not wrong, the load balancer integration.
I think Manju, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but the only thing is like we just added an
I did
like
unit,
unit
yeah,
test
UT
case.
cases we had later.
It's a lot of unit test case. But any idea like how do we stand in terms of UT coverage now?
Think Manju, when we added load balancer, we were above or average of 80, or now maybe after some new additional conjugates, I haven't checked recently, but we should be definitely above 70, 75, I think.
Okay. Let me quickly check.
Periodic one, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's overall 82.8. That's
Yes.
cool. That's cool. That's a good number. We need to check if we are skipping anything here. So we are not. Controller is something very important, and then we are more than average. That's nice, 83. And scope is fine. Okay. And this is fine. This looks good. Okay. And then I did some CLI fix. I mean, with the latest IBMCloud CLI, it was like, so basically it was like panicking because they were expecting some blank variable set, but this was the sort of message we were hitting with. So this is, yeah, mainly we were using this in the end-to-end test case, I believe. But what I found recently is that they have taken care of this. So we don't need this anymore is what I see. Yeah, so removing panic when lang variable is not, it's missing, right? So I think they fixed it in the recent release. But I'm not sure if we just need to remove that or we'll just keep it. Or maybe for time now, but time being we can just keep it. We'll see in the future if you want to can remove. So what do you guys think? So should we remove or we should keep, or it's not making any difference as such now after post?
Yeah. If it's fixed in the latest one, then I think we can remove it. I think I'll just have to check on. Yeah, if we are installing it, right? Anyhow, the IBM Cloud CLI is being installed. So if it's picking up, it should ideally pick up the latest release. So we can test and see if it's working fine. Then that should be fine. if we
Yeah.
do it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fixed already,
Yeah.
for sure. But another question I have, Amulya, is like I am little not very confident in terms of always installing the latest version, right?
So maybe we
Because
just have a placeholder version and then keep updating it.
yeah, maybe yeah. So because it might create some of the other issues in the future, right? So that's always tricky. So yeah, installing always latest is crazy. We should always pin to some version. I know there are disadvantages in terms of updating that to one like specific version we need to keep updating, but that's something we need to maybe, we need to have one doc which deals with all updating the currencies and all that. So maybe we can have one particular doc which talks about what all currency we update we do and all that. So even like maybe like periodically we need to just do that manually. But I think maybe sticking to one particular version, release version is better idea is what I think.
Yeah, makes sense, Manju. Yeah, we can make that change.
Okay, maybe I'll just create an issue for that. Okay, nice one. In the I'll just have something. Maybe you can add more information there later. And then I also want to have one issue for the doc, right? Currency update doc. Let's create a doc which talks about versions for dependency tools, right? IBM Cloud, US EDM, or Crystal API, whatever tools or web. Okay, this is needed. Oh, there's nothing called doc. Cool. Ops documentation. Okay. This we will look at it. Also, you can remove that lang thing in that issue. Amulya.
Yeah, Manju.
Okay. There is some small change into our main file. We just like, okay, so go ahead, Karthik. We'll talk about.
Yeah. So this is just to basically organize the main .go file as per the cluster API. So where also we organize it the different blocks. For example, separate block for webhooks, separate for health check, separate for the reconciler, so that the main .go function looks very clean. That's what we have done here. So all the reconciler together and all the webhooks are together.
Yeah, so the only drawback we were discussing on this issue
Yeah.
is like, so this is the scaffold builder. So whenever there's a new API or control added, I think it will get added here. So we might need to consider,
Yeah.
placing that generated code in a proper function. So that's something we should maybe should do.
Yeah, we should manually update it.
Yep. I'm just wondering whether we can add some comment here or something for just maybe for the future purpose. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Let's see if there is scope. Maybe we can add some comment and then whatever.
Yeah.
Just here after the builder, right?
Okay.
Okay. Prajot. Prajot, you want to talk about this?
Yes, Miju. Yeah. So in this, we are basically trying to in the CI to script, right? We are trying to add VPC related variables, right, which will be used as a part of the E2E testing that we'll do for the VPC. And also, if you scroll down Manju below, we are adding, changing the timeout also for the control plane, wait for control plane, because what we have noticed is that it used to take a longer time for the control plane nodes in case of three control planes and a larger setup, so it is to get timeout, so we have increased the timeout for that. And also the we had moved the Kubernetes version to the latest one, that is 125.2, what is the image that is being using. And also some tweaks in the E2E script. So basically the make test E2E was basically passing the default E2E flavor, what it was passed to it. So we are explicitly passing the E2E flavor as well. So in case of a VPC CI job, the VPC parameter will be passed to the make target, and in case of a Power VS job will be passed. So yeah, basically we are adding the support to go ahead and do the E2E test with the CI flow. Yeah, so just providing the foundation which is required to get started on that.
Okay, thank you. But where we stand in terms of the project, like, do we have something running already, or
No, Manju, because we are waiting for that Bosco's PR from Amulya to get merged.
oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
that's, yeah.
yeah, and in test infra, we already have a PR which is dependent on that. So yeah.
I had few minor, yeah, I think I did review that Bosco's PR thing. Think we have some minor conventional thing. I think maybe we should be able to merge in next couple of days.
Yes, Manju. Yeah, we should be fine. Yes.
Okay. So over to you, Karthik.
Yeah, sure, Manju. Actually, till today, we are for the identifying the network, we were using either name or the ID. But because of some downstream requirement, also we wanted to use a regular expression as well. So given a regex for identifying a network, so this change will go ahead and look for other network, and in the network, whichever is matched with this provided regular expression, we'll be using that network for the machines. So this is about this change.
Think the only one caveat there is, like, it will just if there are multiple network matches
Yeah.
that rejects, so it will just pick up the first one which matches the, you know.
Yeah, correct. I think we need to fine tune the regular expression whenever you are providing.
Yep. So that's the only sort of logic or what we can think of as of now.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I think Karthik, I think you also raised a question saying, like, can we cherry pick to a 0.3 version, right? So what I was thinking is, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's API change is always tricky for.
Yeah, got it, Manoj. So I made other changes in the downstream itself
Okay.
to avoid this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Um, yeah, this is a change I was talking about. So this is mainly for building the CCM image while testing. So, like, for the PR basically. This is taken care. Started additional targets into the make file for building the image, and then eventually it will get called in the pro job.
Okay.
Fix the formatting. So this is mainly meant for the latest version of Golang, I believe. So this
Yes.
one, this
Yes.
was an easy fix. This was an easy fix. That is taken care and updated to a cluster API latest version. This is fine. And then also we updated to a 1.2.4, which is the latest, greatest.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we delivered in last maybe 6 weeks. Any questions or anyone wants to cover anything else? Okay. And we'll come back to PRs. I know there are two PRs. We have what, another 5 minutes to discuss, but this one definitely needs some discussion for sure.
Yeah, Manju. Actually, I and Prajot discussed about this.
Mhm,
Currently, we are facing issues while deleting the images.
mhm.
Whenever we delete a cluster and the image, and also we
Yes.
identified that while deleting the image, we need not look for the cluster as well. So the cluster is not required while deleting image. So we are trying to do a small fix so that can we proceed without making much alteration to the code. So
Okay,
yeah, we are just experimenting on that.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So,
So,
while creating importing a image, we need a cluster reference because we need to add the owner reference and the labels. But while deleting the image, we need not have the cluster reference. So that's what we thought yesterday.
but why do we need, while creating the image, why do you need the cluster reference?
I think we are setting the owner for the image.
Yeah, so that whole thing we need to maybe, assess, do we really need to do that? So that's the question I'm kind of trying to solve now.
Okay.
I
Actually,
think
yeah.
we need another discussion for this. So this might take another, like, yeah, I think we'll discuss on this.
Sure.
So we might, so what I'm thinking is like maybe we'll redesign the kind of the way what we're dealing with this resource as of now, right? So we can maybe redesign itself, the complete thing we can redesign.
Okay.
See whichever. I'm just wondering whether we can just avoid a relationship with this cluster. IBM Power BI cluster is what it is relating, right? I mean, depend on as of now, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to figure out a way whether we can remove that dependency itself, right? So this becomes like another infra object for the cluster
Yes.
API,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's something, because yeah, let's see where it goes. Maybe we need to discuss on this and then see
Sure. Sure.
how we can achieve on the like how we can do all that.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
And this SSH key flavor thing, I haven't got a chance to look at it. I yet to review. I see some review comments from Muli, I believe. Yeah, we need to definitely. I need to review at least. But do you have any other options other than like such key reference projects? So do you think anything else can be named?
As in the naming convention, Manju, for the variable.
Or just the name, right? So the SSH key ref, instead of this, can we have something else? Any better option?
Mm, SSH key pair, so something. Not sure. Manju. That's the hardest part, I believe, naming the variables.
Yeah. Okay.
We can,
See,
yeah, Manju, we can
by
spend
the
some
way,
time.
okay. Yeah, we can see like just an idea, like maybe, yeah, I mean, question to all of you folks. So Karthik, you, and then Amulya, you also think about like what's a better naming here. So I know the such keys is already prepared. So we just want to deprecate that and then use something else. That's what we are dealing with this dealing with. So
Okay.
I think Prajot went with the convention of like, because image ref, network ref, like we've been following that, if I'm not wrong. So I just went to this convention. SSH key ref.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, even anything better is also
Yeah,
fine.
we can definitely think of something better.
It will just matter of changing that variable everywhere.
Yeah.
No big change there.
Yeah, so let's think about that. Let's see. That's one, the pending PR, and then issues are here. At least we have created 4 of them, so feel free to assign to yourself whatever makes sense. And so these are like, we're just waiting on the Kubernetes, so sorry, latest cluster API stuff. What else we have? Which is something we want to do it for this release. As far as new items I have just added, so Bootstrap with Ignition, like the CoreOS part I have added, so we need to explore that also. How do we use CoreOS sort of a image for the cluster? And this can be, for first phase, I think we can just stick to VPC, which is easy, easy to do, and then we can eventually see how we can achieve in the PowerVS. And also we need to explore load balancer, using load balancer with PowerVS. That is another another thing I want to explore. So that's something for the future thing. Yeah, so instrumentation is another thing, which is also we need to consider working on. I don't see any easy, as in like low hanging fruits here. All the items what we have are like something we want to explore for, which will consume more time anyway. Yeah, this the cluster class also is another thing I just want to explore. We should work on. But anything you guys find which is missing in our stuff, which is like, you know, something got introduced in cluster API recent version, which we are not like dealing with or we're not using.
I think the cluster class and all, I think we should start with it sooner, because whole cluster API is dealing with the managed managed topologies, and they have some other features coming on top of that as well. I think we should
Okay.
at least explore on this.
Like, so I'm just wondering who got the bandwidth. So like Karthik, if you have already explored it, so do you mind maybe taking a lead on this and then see?
Yeah, sure, Manju, I can do that.
Okay, if you have some bandwidth, go ahead and then explore this.
Yeah, sure.
I'll assign to you.
Also, I think the cluster API is introducing some runtime webhooks and all. I think all are dependent on these managed topologies.
Okay. Can you create a issue for that? Like the
Yeah, sure.
entire thing what you're talking about, and
Yeah,
then maybe this becomes like subtask of that issue.
sure. I will just create the issue and I will add more relevant information.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah, I think these issues we can maybe discuss in the next meeting. So we will go through one of these issues like one by one, and then we'll set the priority and all that so that we can start working on. But anything else, guys? Anything else you want to discuss? I don't know. We're top of the hour. Like anything else you want to discuss?
Nothing
Quickly.
from my side, Manju.
Amala, anything?
Yeah, Manju, one question. So right now our E2E tests just have like two basic test cases. So we parked the test of upgrading the cluster for some time. We just did a basic test. So do you think it's right time to include it? Because I see like all other providers have that as the basic uh, in their basic E2E suite. So
How are we doing in terms of the um like tests? Like,
yeah, not great. So I think first step would be fixing them.
yeah, so I would say like maybe we should start focusing on that.
Yeah.
This is good. So not so bad. Like we see at least some greens there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we should maybe start looking at some of these failures. Of course, we cannot fix everything. Could be some networking or some issues with the infrastructure.
Right.
But the VM creation is most of the time it just works.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
sure why we're hitting some of these issues. Um,
I will check and get. So previously, I checked the jobs and I noted down the common issues we were seeing. I'll just cross check once again if we're still seeing those, and then we can pick it up and fix them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are we getting all sort of information like, are we dumping the artifacts in are we dumping everything? Like, is it useful?
Yeah, it is useful. Like we have all the controller logs and everything, so we get at least an idea of what's happening.
Okay, cool. Because I was just curious, like I just want to make sure that we have everything, dumped here to
Right.
like to analyze what's really went wrong. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's figure out those issues and see what needs to be fixed.
Right. Okay.
I think that's about it. Yeah, make sure you just okay, just let me copy paste. I may not be able to add that coding for WebEx. It's fine. Okay. Anything else you guys want to discuss? Prajot, anything?
No, Manju, I think we are fine. Yeah.
All right. Nothing else. I'll close the call. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Weekend.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks, Manju.
Happy Diwali.
Yeah, happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, Manju.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.